Gentlemen, ladies, and anyone in between, I welcome you all. And in today's video, I want to talk about 3 different topics. The first 2 I'm going to kind of breeze right over. The third I want to spend a little bit more time on, which is about the brand spanking new Shimano Saragosa that's going to be debuting later this year, hopefully. And so the first topic I want to talk about are eBay auctions for rods and reels coming out of the Wejebe estate. I've linked them in my community tab for the last couple days. There are seemingly a truckload of these rods and reels, some brand spanking new. I bought a rod already. For you guys looking for a piece of history, if you're anything like me who never really idolized bass fishermen on the Tourney Trail, but guys like Jose, Wejebe, and Tread Barda were the guys that you really wanted to see on ESPN Outdoors and that kind of stuff. And it's also a great way to support a family going through some issues right now. So I'll link them down below. In each one of the listing, Captain Shane has put the reason why these are going up for auction. So get in on that. There are quite a few rods and reels. I bought a Shimano Travala F jigging rod, which was my first tuna jigging rod, the extra heavy 5'8". Loved it. Caught lots of tuna up to 150 pounds on 130 pounds. And I scored for $100 shipped. So not only is it a piece of history, not only is it helping out a family in need, but it's a great rod for a good price. So link down below in the description taking to those auctions. Next up, the 2020 brand spanking new Shimano Daiwa Saltiga is being delayed over on the JDM Daiwa site. It's plain as day. You can read it here. It's being held up due to the virus. I don't want to say the actual name because it'll probably get demonetized. The video get taken down because that's what they're trying to do on YouTube. And it makes sense. They don't want people monetizing a calamity and so on and so forth. So with that being said, the new Daiwa Saltiga, which is looking to come out in the next couple weeks, is looking to get pushed back. I don't know what parts are made in China, if that is indeed the case, but I would guess that the anodized aluminum trim pieces don't have to be made in Japan. So that could be the cause. So coming out of Daiwa Japan on their website, I don't know if you guys heard, but expect delays on the new Saltiga. Now, next up, what you guys are here for, the 2020, hopefully, Shimano Saragosa. This is the picture that popped up on Instagram. I'm not sure how many people actually saw it. It kind of disappears because it's a story. It's not up forever. And this is it. It looks to be a kind of what I was critical about the original Saragosa, how it was kind of like a loaf of bread, 2 slices slapped together with a stem and a spool and a rotor. It looks like they kind of trimmed it down, got rid of some of the unnecessary fat. I don't know if it's coming to the table with a worm drive oscillation system. I hope it maintains a locomotion level line because it's super simple. And in my opinion, for this reel to be an equal hit, as good as the existing one, they have to maintain the level of sealing that the current Saragosa has. I would hate to see them go the route of Daiwa and kind of lighten the sealing to free up rotation. I love the double-lipped seals. I love how they sealed off the clutch for a $300 reel. Let's hope it stays at that price. For a $300 reel, I truly hope that they really do beef up the sealing, because there are lots of reels. I'm sitting staring at the new Quantum Reliance that's sealed just like the $200 Spinfisher, or sub-$200 Spinfisher, and the PENN Slammer. So seals and reels are becoming far more popular. Some are more effective than others. The Saragosa has proven itself to be the king of the non-van stalls. I'm really hoping that it keeps that level of sealing. That way the surf caster can fish without worry. And I truly hope that they follow the trend of getting rid of that parallel reel foot, which is something they did on the new Stellas, because on certain rod builds, you would get some line slap where it comes off the spool lip, hits that first guy, but on the way starts slapping against the rod blank. Hopefully they kind of move back to a more traditional angled reel foot. It's not much, but it is something that, when you're out on the water and you're doing your time fishing, every single cast when you're trying to heave 75 yards plus, you don't want to hear that of the line hitting the blank. I experienced that firsthand with the reels, and along with some other Shimano reels. Does it rob distance? Not really, but it's just like it doesn't cast fluidly. It doesn't give you that sensation of it's just going, gone. You kind of hear an audible representation of friction, which is never cool. You know what I mean? I do like the cosmetics. The previous generation of the Saragosas spool in the 10,000, 8,000 size kind of looked like it was a blue silver soda can. This looks like it's a little more aggressive with the cutouts, kind of disrupting that straight cylinder profile. So I do like the look of it. Handle looks good. Everything looks good. Again, we don't know if it's a worm gear oscillation or a locomotion level 1 setup or oscillation system. So looking forward to seeing what the new Saragosa brings to the table. And who knows what's going to happen with the Spheros. They came out with the Stratic FK version of the smaller Spheros reels. I'm very curious to see how they treat it in the 2020-2021 model. And one last thing that I'm really hoping that Shimano does to the new Saragosa, especially at launch, I'm really hoping they're paying special attention to the issue that they had where the rotors weren't balanced. These 6,000 or 5,000 size rotors, there were many, and they persisted for years. Maybe there were old stock people buying them in 2019 that brand new out of the box Saragosas were tremendously wobbly. It wasn't something that, oh, when it's on the rod, you don't notice it. It really was bad. I think I'm trying to go back because I tried fixing it on a friend's. He decided he didn't want to bother because I couldn't apply tungsten or enough tungsten in the proper area to counterbalance it properly without drilling out the rotor to take weight out of an opposite side and then add weight to the opposite of that. And we decided to sell it off. He wasn't going to do it. But it was that bad. It was very noticeable. So I'm really hoping that Shimano is going to pay special and very close attention to that. And it seems that in 2020 is the year of the wobbly, expensive reels. Between the Van Staal Bayless kit acting like a way out of whack egg beater and giving you a hand massage with every crank of the handle, there are reports that are coming in on the Saltex 4000 Bayless kit being pretty wobbly. So again, Shimano, please don't release any wobbly Saragosas. We want this reel to be a home run. As second it comes out, I'll be getting that. That's one of the reels that I'm most anticipating of the year, hoping it comes out at least sometime around ICAST, early fall, before the fall run sets in. And two bonuses. PENN is releasing a Clash 2. Josh posted the picture up on his Instagram the other day. This is it right here. And it's a looker. And for you guys out there that have been hating on PENN, I'm one of them. I was never a big PENN fan. I wasn't a big fan of the Battle 2. I wasn't, like, the whole Clash lineup of the previous generation, I wasn't the biggest fan of. If it's anything like the Spinfisher VI and the Slammer, the Clash is going to be a smash hit. The gearing of the Spinfisher is almost as smooth as what you would get out of the Shimano Stratic FK. The FL does beat it out handily in that department. The Daiwa Saltiga back bay beats it out in that refinement category. But in terms of rugged reliability, for the most part, at the sub $200 price range, I think the PENN might be the best on the market in terms of refinement, fluidity, ruggedness, reliability. And out of those three reels, there's nobody out there that comes close in terms of how easily it is to maintain a reel. A couple screws to pop the side plate, you're right in there, pull the main gear, take the rotor off, just be careful of the hydrophobic coating, and you're in at the clutch, and you're out. No muss, no fuss. The Daiwas, you got to worry about the C-clips and E-clips. You got to worry about the mag seal plate that you have to realign. Then you have to worry about the mag seal itself. A lot of guys don't like it. I don't mind it because I've been around it for so long. But another YouTuber, Fishhawk, had an issue with his Fuego, and I'm walking him through it, through text, just step by step how to get the rotor off to fix his clutch problem that he's having. And as I'm typing it out, like I've done so many times for so many guys who have had that issue where the anti-reverse clutch goes out and starts back reeling, getting in there and cleaning it, getting it out, the clutch itself, isn't a big deal. You got to take the rotor off, the rotor retaining nut screw, lift out the rotor without pulling the clutch sleeve because it's kind of sitting and centered in that magnetic plate. which is where the mag seal is. So you wanted to kind of lift that out as a unit without pulling the sleeve out of the magnetic ring. And it's when you go to reassemble it, it becomes an issue. You have to really focus on aligning that magnetic plate so it doesn't rub on the clutch sleeve. And the only way to do that is by kind of centering it with the 3 screws when you reassemble it, put the rotor back on, turn the handle, make sure when the rotor retaining nuts tighten down, the rotor centers on the clutch sleeve and the clutch sleeve is centered in the gap. I'm trying to say this all in one breath. And you'll find out then whether it's rubbering or not. And I've actually had new in the box, new stock on the shelf, ready to be sold, Daiwa reels that it wasn't even assembled properly from the factory. So the guy assembling it in the factory, whether they're using a jig or not, didn't assemble that clutch magnetic clutch plate seal where the mag seal is, and it rubs against the clutch sleeve, and you can feel it on the rotation of the handle. It kind of grabs and grinds. So, yeah, PENN beats out Daiwa in terms of the ease of serviceability, and the new Stratic, not an easy reel to service once you get around that super stopper anti-reverse clutch. It's not like it was in the old where it was like a kind of a separately assembled piece that where you can remove the screws to pull it off of the frame, but you still had the 3 screws keeping the clutch assembly fully assembled so you can move it out and you play catch with it. You don't have to worry about cylinders and springs flying everywhere. This one's a little bit different. You pull that clutch, you got to be ready to spend a lot of time with non-magnetic tweezers to get the cylinders and springs back centered and the bottom metal plate back centered, and then reassemble it without disrupting it and having it fall apart as you're trying to reassemble it. Not an easy task. Not something that's fun. Plus the Stratic's a worm gear, which is a lot more parts involved. So yeah, in terms of saltwater friendly maintenance and preventative maintenance, and when you got to get in there, you can't beat the Slammer and Spinfisher. So if the Clash is anywhere close to that, it'd be a great thing for 2020 whenever this reel's coming out. I think it's coming out in ICAST. They're also coming out with some low pros. Somebody from Australia was kind enough, somehow got a hold of these, sent me some pictures of the Battle 3 and one of the low profile reels. And again, PENN's going ham in 2020. Somebody who has been a long-time hater of the Battle 2, I'm seeing the Battle 3. I reached out to a gentleman at PENN, asked if he had any information on it that I can share. He said it was too soon. So I'm just going to say the low profile in the Battle 3, the Battle 3 in terms of looks incredible. In terms of the heat it's packing in the gearbox, Daiwa's BG may have to upgrade. I'm sitting here again, as I mentioned, in front of PENN Reliance in pieces, and that reel's looking to give the BG a run for its money. The Battle 3 is like the NASCAR version of the PENN Reliance, where it gives you the better gear train, seal ball bearings, all that kind of stuff, and it looks great. And again, coming from somebody who was never a big PENN fan for saltwater spinners, conventionals were great, the Star Drags were great. Spinners, I never really liked them all that much. It's looking like they're coming to the bat. It's coming to the plate with a big stick. So I'm going to close it off here. I mentioned I was going to cover 3 topics. I talked about 2 extra ones. I don't want this video to run too long. So until next time, guys, I appreciate the time you guys spend here. Tight lines, and I'll see you soon.